Morning.
How are you all? Did you all have a good weekend? So? Did you have to work?
No.
No? Kendricks, good to see you.
So,
Don't roll those eyes up. He still can't talk. Marcus, boy, have I been looking for you.
Morning,
But
Chef.
I said, I've been looking for you, but boy, I tell you,
I know, Chef.
you know what it is? It's not so much about the job, it's how you get there.
Yeah, I know, Chef.
That's the issue that I had to come up with to figure that out.
Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be easy. That's all right.
No, it just where you are. And you don't really want to use the bus schedule right now, do you? No, you see what I'm trying to say? And that's the issue. Yep. But I'm not going to give up, you know that.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that's the thing. Andrew, it's good to see you. Robert, good to see you. John, it's got to see you that you're there. Andre.
There we go.
Morning. Loretta, you're right there up there. Oh, she was. She's gone. But I know you'll be back. Interesting weekend though, isn't it? A little bit more busier, I think, around if you look at the traffic. A lot more traffic everywhere. Not that I went anywhere, but I saw that it was a little bit more out there yesterday. I'm trying to get it done. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Chef.
Morning, I know. Monday morning. Guys, thanks for sending all those, the homework in. Really appreciate it. I will get to it today. This weekend for me was pretty intense and got it done though. I feel a lot better now and to get everything in place for another project for the school, for the class, and not for this class, for another class. And so I had to get quite a bit of stuff ready for that. Kind of important for our school to carry on, but we got it done, and that was I think an accomplishment. Today is day 13, building a standardized recipe math calculations. It's kind of an array of different ways. We should have had this really in the first week, but rounding it out and conversions, a little bit understanding what math is about, EP versus AP. I've talked to you a little bit about that, edible portions versus as
purchased.
As purchased, thank you. So did you have a good weekend, Chef?
I did. I didn't do anything other than just kind of hang at the house, but yes.
That's good. I wish I hung at the house.
It was good, yeah.
I know. We had to put
You had to
6
build the
weeks.
curriculum.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Put it and do the inventory ingredients and send that in. And I sent that in at probably 11 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
But it's done. So that was a chore by itself to just come up with a new concept of how they would like it done. So that was pretty.
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
I heard it was a lot of work.
Oh my gosh. Just deciding what you're gonna do,
Yep.
but at least that's underneath our belt.
It is done, right?
Yep, sure is. 16 hours later, done. So, everybody here so far? 8, 6, or 6?
All right, I'm gonna while we're waiting, I'm gonna show how to make more line on this costing out form. I'm
Okay,
gonna
go ahead,
share
do
my
that.
screen.
That'd be great for them.
As for the making more lines, you could also just copy paste the lines that are already there.
You can. So can everybody see my screen now?
Yes,
All right, do you see this little box, and it's got this little, or I guess, oops, sorry, well, I deleted that. So I go here and drag down, and then it has the values. And then I can take here or here. Let me just, you know what, I just screwed up that whole thing.
Now just go above it and drag that cell down. It'll copy over
Yeah.
it.
Well, I just closed it out. Let me make a new copy. Hold on. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna, you can, basically what I tried, come on. There we go. So you can take it, I'm gonna take it all the way across. And drag down, and it builds these just like that.
But still, what about the left side? Because
This right here?
yes.
All right.
Just click on that one right. Yeah, there you go.
So you can go, oh, no. So this happens, let's see. There we go. You just pull it down.
Okay. Chef, I spent so much time on that last night.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that simple, though.
Loretta,
Yes, Chef.
I felt it.
All right. But did that help you? Was that good enough?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
All right, cool.
neat.
Where is my Zoom? Oh, there it is. Oh. Chef, would you like to start, or do you want to wait a few minutes?
No, I'm fine. Ready when- You can go over later on. I know that I got an email from Chef Tammy, just like you did, going over the quiz and stuff, so they can get an idea of EP versus AP and all the standardized stuff, so we can go into that later. Day 13, built a standardized recipe.
The quiz and all of that's already on the portal.
Okay,
I already uploaded it for today and on day 2 days from now. It's already
Okay.
on there.
all right. You ready? To make sure. Consistency of a product, taste, and portion size are the greatest challenges to a food service operator. And the greatest challenges to a food service operator. Consistency is important without the correct units and measurements. That's what it is. The word consistency, making sure that everybody gets equal parts when they come into a restaurant or a bakery or any venue that they're coming to make sure. The standardized recipe is the map and the tool that is used to professional kitchens to take you from a mise en place. You're getting it, Sheffy?
Yeah, what chapter is this? Or what day is it?
It is day 13, Chef.
13. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Slide number 3.
There you go.
The next one. That's it right there. Thank you. The standardized recipe is the map and tool that is used professional kitchens to make sure that you mise en place the settings for your tools, ingredients to begin cooking to the finished product. This tool must be used correctly in order to achieve success. Success begins with accurate measurements of the ingredients in the recipe. How important it is to make one dish with two different plates, with 2 plates, looking at them to make sure that you understand. Especially when you're in a hotel form or a country club form and you're feeding more than, say, one person. If you've got 50 or 60 plates, they all better look alike. The meat should be the same size, the amount of sauce is the same size, everything meaning accurately done. First of all, really, you're going to be going through all this to understand it is the cost factor, making sure that it's uniform. How many times have you been in a bakery and you're standing in line and you'll see one muffin or one thing bigger than the other, and you'll say, I hope I get the big one, and the person behind you gets the smaller one, and they feel that it's not fairly done. So uniformity is one of the key things of making sure we measure, and maybe how we rely, or I shouldn't say rely, how we replicate something to be equal. Foundations of a standardized formula. They control quality, and they control quantity. Really very, very important. We talked about quality and quantity the other day to make sure. A standardized recipe has to be tested, proven, researched before being published. It includes appropriate quantities and brand qualities required for a particular dish. That the user wishes to make the recipes also a particular consistency. The method that is used as the main base for a similar dish. Standardized recipes are often used as a base for new dishes and create alternatives for recipes itself. These alternative versions may include vegan or gluten-free options, or they may even use different flavors and products to create original recipes. Using a standardized recipe helps maintain the cost control and the ingredients. That's what we just talked about, making sure you use the same amount of items, the same amount of a certain ingredients to make that recipe fabulous. It's really, really important for that, guys. So the HACCP or HACCP system, keep going up, Chef. The companies that follow a system standardized recipes, oh, I didn't get that one. A standardized recipe may be different from one food, serve it, back up. Because of variation of equipment, available ingredients, the skill of a cook, skill of the cook or the food handler, depending on who you are and where you get. The USDA requires the following information to be included in the standardized recipe as a minimum of the name of the recipe, list of ingredients that are in measurements, preparation of ingredients, cooking procedures, serving instructions, yield portions, variations, and garnishes. Nutrition information per serving, market guide, and necessary equipment. USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, is the one that it partakes in that. That has how do you say that word, Chef? The system. The companies that follow a HACCP system. Yeah, standardized recipes also include critical control points of food service, food safety instructions, all different ways of making something. So by following a standard recipe, the food establishment can assure customers that they are being served quality food of the correct portion or serving size. The food establishment can also control food costing and inventories of ingredients more easily and save employees time by using a standardized recipe. Kind of every restaurant has a book, has a recipe book. I don't know where you work, if they do it or not. Where I worked, we always had a standardized recipe form that people would go to and get whatever they want. It's not ad lib. It's the standardized recipe of what that particular restaurant forte is. What are they cooking or what are they doing? Has to be step by step conquered to make the outcome of what the owner or the restaurant believes it should be. The food establishment can control food cost inventories or ingredients more easily than save employees time by using a standardized recipe. US measurements and metric measurements, yard, inches, tablespoons, cup, pint, quart, gallon, ounces, pound. How important? How do we do it versus another country to understand? US measures distance is inches, feet, and miles. Temperature is degree and Fahrenheit. Volume is fluid ounces. Weight is ounces and pounds. Which way do we? Some restaurants, guys, really just do it all in grams. Don't even go to the US measuring system of pounds and ounces. So we have to kind of be aware of where we are and what we do. Distances spaced between 2 points. Smallest units are inches, largest are miles. 12 inches is 1 foot, 3 feet is 1 yard, 0.5280 feet is 1 mile. These measurements are often used in a kitchen, are not often used in a kitchen. Temperature, the warmth or the coldness of an object. Freezing point is 32 Fahrenheit. Boiling point is 212 at sea level. Temperature is measured by a thermometer. You can gauge based on body temperature. Your gauge is based on body temperature. Weight, the amount of mass or an object has. This is measured in ounces and pounds. Weight is the most accurate measurement of an ingredient. 16 ounces make 1 pound. 2,000 pounds make 1 ton. A portion control scale is used to measure portion size. Meat like quarter pound hamburger are weighed prior to cooking and ensuring the weight is 1/4 or 25% of a pound. Deli, sliced deli meats are weighed before a sandwich is served to ensure the portion size. How many times have you gone into a shop and you order a sandwich and everything is pre-measured in that basin. Has anybody noticed that? When you've gone to buy a deli sandwich? To understand? Remember keeping the cost where it's supposed to be? Making sure that you're not over giving a slice of cheese, or the person doing a deli, how many slices to a pound, or how many ounces to what that's, how many ounces is supposed to be put on that scale for that sandwich. If you just give one slice more every day, guys, to one person or every customer that comes in the door, your food cost is out of whack. So everything has to be done in precise way of doing it. Same thing if you're making a goulash or something and you give them an extra scoop with the meat in it, throws off the cost factor all over, ounce-wise. You get the scoop that tells you how many ounces you're serving of that particular item. Potato salad, same thing. So we have to be very, very careful of measurements when we are doing things, especially in the food service. Everything has to be done to a required quantity. Remember, quality has to be there, because if you don't do everything in quality, they're not going to come back. So liquids are measured in volumes. Liquids include water, juice, oils, stock, and other liquids. Volume units of measurements include gallons, quart, pint, cup, fluid, tables, and teaspoon. Do you know the gallon man? Has anybody ever seen that? 1 gallon. 4 quarts, 8 pints. Understanding it. Some people have to see it right in front of their face to figure that out. It's really, really important. I've seen a lot of students come to the last week of class and don't even know how many teaspoons make a tablespoon. How many quarts make a gallon? And how many pints in a gallon? I've seen it every day. Ask them a basic question. Really realizing what teaspoons, tablespoons, cups, how many ounces in a cup. Some can't even tell you. It's really a requirement if you are a chef to understand the basic fundamentals of cooking or baking. I don't think you use an awful lot of cup measurements, do you, in culinary? Compared to what we do in the baking. But it's really an important factor. Measurements, weighing ingredients is more accurate than measuring volume. The term for weighing ingredients is scaling. Weighing ingredients is more accurate than measuring and scaling. Water, milk, eggs can be measured by volume at the ratio of 1 pint per pound. Kind of really getting deep into that part of it. Cost, count at a unit measurement, a unit of measure. Certain food products are individual units and they may be measured by count. How many shrimp are you getting? How many scallops are you getting? Apples, bay leaves when you're cooking. How many times have you seen a culinary recipe that says 3 bay leaves? I've seen it. Putting it on the pan. A recipe for egg bread uses a volume of weight quantity of the eggs rather than the count measurement. Remember, that recipe probably goes into a liquid form then by each egg. How much does an egg weigh? Anybody know? Anybody? How much an egg weigh? Anybody know? What's
I'd
the,
venture 30 grams, something like that.
1.6 ounces, guys. 1.6. What do you think is the egg? I mean, what? Sorry. What do you think is the yolk? Anybody know? The yolk is 6. The egg whites are 1 ounce. So if you're breaking down a recipe and they tell you that you need 10 ounces of egg whites, how many eggs whites? How many eggs are you going to use? Right? Thank you. I just use these numbers. So always remember that you don't have to go get your scale out to figure out an egg. If they're small eggs, it's not going to be a little bit. On the average, it's 1.6. But on the if you see that it's small, you might want to put 1 more egg white. It's not going to make a difference. But that's a good thing to know. Metric system. Distance, meter, weight, gram, volume, liter. Europeans, but they started to crawl in. How many recipes have you been cooking for or looking at in your book and they have grams? How many? Quite a few. What are you all comfortable doing? To make it work?
Definitely grams.
You like grams?
It's just so much better.
Yeah. So metric system is based on 10 units of 10. The base usually gets prefix added to a designed multiples. Kind of understanding a lot. The 10 system of conversion. Metric systems of measurements, distance, weight, volume, and temperature are based on using appropriate devices. It's easy to move decimal points and change the prefix to describe the measurement. Temperature scales run from 0 to 100 degrees. 0 meaning freezing point of water. 100 is boiling point of water. US versus metric measurements. Most of US does not use the metric system. It is mainly used in scientific communities. However, I've seen tons of more in the kitchens than I ever have. However, US was the first country in the world to adopt a system of currency based on units of 10. Kitchen measurements are easier in the metric system once you're used to the conversion. Conversion. 1 ounce is 28.35 grams. 1 fluid ounce is 29.57 milliliters. 1 inch. 1 inch is 25.4. Conversion. Practice. 0.12 ounces is how many grams? Can somebody tell me? 12 ounces, how many grams? You take 28.35 and multiply it by what? Anybody answering?
328 off the top of my head, but I would need to find a calculator to actually get the right answer.
340. 0.2. That's
It's
up.
actually 0.12 ounces. It's actually 12 ounces.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, 340 grams.
Ah, so close. I accidentally subtracted too much.
Did she get DC'd?
Looks like maybe she might have.
Possibly.
Looks like she's frozen, but yes, you are correct. Let me see if.
Oh, I got 328. There's 453 grams in a pound and 16 ounces in a pound.
All right, so we've got that's 28.35 grams, right? You know, did anybody have any questions about that one? About this? No.
Back. Thank
There
you.
you go. Hey.
Okay. All the way to conversions for fluid ounces, Chef, all the way up. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. There, back up. Right there. So you've got 7 fluid ounces, milliliters. 29.57. Multiply it by 7. Multiply it by 7. 7, multiply it by 207 milliliters. You all get what I'm saying? So as long as you know what the conversion is, it may help you make it work. Formula yield conversion. Metric conversion review. 1 ounce is 28.35. 1 fluid ounce is 29.57 milliliters, rounded at the end of the calculations only. The first step in almost all baking culinary math calculations, everything to the same unit. Weight is the easiest unit that you may have to look up to for weight in some liquids. Crepes. 4 ounces of flour, 4 ounces of cake flour, 1 ounce of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 6 ounces of eggs, 6 ounces of milk, and 2.5 ounces of oil or clarified butter. So you're going to take the 4 ounces of bread flour, multiply it by 28.35. The same thing. Equals 113.4 grams. Remember, 1 ounce equals to 28.35. 1 ounce. And you go all the way down. So 4 ounces of cake flour, the same way, 113.4 grams to make sure. Same thing with this, coming down, eating step by step. 1 ounce of sugar at 28.35 again, multiply it, 28.35. Eggs, 6 ounces, multiplied by 28.35 for grams. 16 ounces of milk. 28.35 is 170.1. And 22.5 ounces of oil or clarified butter multiplied by 28.35. So remember, 1 ounce of regular American measurement multiplied by 28.35, that is what 1 gram is. Everybody understand that? To make sure. So understanding the way the fourth of what we're going to be doing. Converting pounds and ounces to grams and back and forth to understand it. Kind of a little bit more out of your box to understand, but understanding a recipe and what you need to get. Wow. Didn't think we were going to have math today, did we? A little bit to understand. Multiplying with decimals, adding and subtracting with decimals is easy because you line up the decimal point always. The numbers are added and subtracted and the decimal point is inserted in the correct place, always, to make it work. Always have the decimal in the same place when you're adding or you're subtracting. You learned that in school, but we're refreshing it a little bit of it today. Multiplication with decimals is the same as multiplication with whole numbers, except when one process is complete, the total number of decimal places in equation are counted. The decimal point is inserted in the product equal to the total number of decimals in the equation. Remember, 2 decimal points to make sure. I'm going to go over a little bit of this. US and metric conversions, volume to conversion multipliers. Gallons to liters. Liters to quarts. Quarts to liters. Pints to liters. Cups to liters. Fluid ounces to milliliters. Fluid teaspoons. And teaspoon to milliliters. Kind of bringing it all into place to understand. Wow. A recipe for cream of broccoli. Yield 2 gallons. The chef will know how to make liters and the recipe will what the recipe will yield. The conversion is a gallon to liters. The unit of measure for a soup is a gallon. The new unit of measurement for soup is in liters. The multiplied decimal number or change, gallons to liters, is 3.785. So 2 gallons multiplied by 3.785 equals 7.57 liters. Usually in the kitchen, guys, we're not gonna go really like over our heads, understanding a little bit of it, but majority of times, how many times have you worked somewhere, it's always gallons. I'm making so many gallons of stock versus liters for us. To make it chicken stock, beef stock, seafoods. Remember? What are we putting in together to make it easier for us? To make it. Two gallons of cream of broccoli soup yields. Remember what I told you yesterday or the other day when we were talking? Remember when you're looking at a recipe, always look at the yield. And then you divide it by how many people you're going to be serving. How much soup are you going to be serving? To get the count of how many servings you're going to get out of that 1 gallon. Remember we talked about it last Thursday. How important it is to see the number yield on the top. When you're making, I mean, I'm coming from a bakery background. For me, it would be how many muffins does this recipe yield? What is the yield? You might be making stock or a soup. Really stock, because you have to add stock to the soup usually. It kind of gives you a yield of what you're going to be making. So for me, I'm a gallon kind of person. I need to see how big the gallon is in front of me and how much I'm making. The Lexans that we get kind of tell us a variety also that helps us determine the yield that we are making in the soup. You might have to be making five gallons a week of one particular kind to carry you through for that restaurant. So you really need to know a little bit about what has to be on hand to make it work. Roro, are you here? Anthony, Victoria, Mia, Andre, are you all on?
Yes, Chef.
Okay,
Yes, Chef.
I appreciate it. I need to see you though. Kind of important. Thank you. Ivan, like to see you. Andrew, Gary, Nigel, need to see you all, please. I know, Monday morning, I know it's hard, but I need to see. Mia. So, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate it. I know it's hard getting up, isn't it? But we need to understand a little bit of what we're doing. Understanding how to read a recipe and what the quantity that we're going to be making to get it done. Weight units or measurement conversion table. French cookbook lists the following ingredients: ground beef as 1 kilogram, pork 500 grams, ground veal 300 grams. You purchase meat by the pound. How many pounds of ground beef, pork, or veal should you order? Wow. Just a little bit of an insight for you to know where you're going. What is your comfort level of understanding what weight is all about? Really important when you're doing recipes. Really important, because it is the cha-ching factor that you have to be concerned about. Because you can't keep going to your phone or coming back to the computer to figure it out. Have to understand a little bit of it. Same thing in baking, exactly. What did people do when they didn't have a phone or they didn't have the equipment that we are really gifted with to make life a little bit more easier? A transition. You know, I mean, we do have charts, we do have a lot of things, but I want you to have a little bit of an idea, a little bit to understand a recipe, a little bit of understanding what you're getting yourself into, to understand the cost versus something you're living by the day, winging it. I don't want you to wing anything. I want you to understand everything costs money. I want you to understand pounds versus kilograms or grams. Don't have to be proficient in it, but understanding the translation of the two things. Having an idea of what you have to get done for that day. Breaking it down a little bit. US metric weights, conversion multipliers, kilograms, pounds. Look at that. Kind of gives you an idea of what you have to go to. Understanding it. So from kilograms to pounds, you multiplied by 2.2046. Pounds to kilograms is 0.4536. Grams to pound is 0.0022. Pounds to grams, remember, is 453.5924. Too many numbers for me to remember. A tablet next to you when you're ordering stuff helps a lot. To be aware of what you're doing. Pate, the conversion of ground beef is kilograms to pounds. The recipe lists ground beef by the kilograms. You purchase ground beef by the pound. Remember the multiplier the decimal number to change kilograms to pound is 2.2046. 1 kilogram is 2.2046, and you multiply it the ground beef. And coming it off, it comes to 35.3 ounces of ground beef. Pate. So you're going to have to order 1.1 pounds of ground pork. That means it's 17.6 ounces of ground pork if you're going to do it by ounces. Getting it there. The recipe lists ground beef by the gram. Remember, 0.0022. A little confusing a little bit, trying to come across to what you need to get done. A lot of vendors are doing that. Some vendors are not. Or your qualified place where you're going to get your meats, or Benny Keith or Cisco. Who do you get your meat from? Do you get it from a butcher? Or do you getting it from a vendor like Benny Keith, a supplier? In the pate example, the decimal point or the answer can be multiplied by 16, which is the number of ounces in a pound. Which is the number of ounces in a pound to ensure the correct order quantity. Convert both grams and kilograms and grams to pounds and ounces when ordered. How many of you have ever thought of different types, or are you just used to pounds and ounces? How many of you, really? Pounds and ounces or metric? Have you ever thought of like looking at the whole picture to see where you are? I know some of you have. To understand. Multipliers can be used to convert cost per US standard cost per metric unit. Olive oil is purchased a 2-liter bottle for $4.50. One recipe uses 1 pint of olive oil. How much does 1 pint of olive oil cost? The cost of a liter as follows: $4.50 for 2 liters. Because it's a 2-liter bottle. $2.25 per liter. Olive oil costs $2.25 for 1 liter. Remember, the bottle that you bought is 2 liters. Breaking it down. Remember, you have an inventory that you have to keep and keep up with to know what you have in hand. You could go into a bakery and start your own bakery and just say, you know what? I just want to deal with pounds and ounces. But I'm going to tell you some of the ingredients that you're going to get are going to be in grams and milliliters that you have to break down. I know sometimes it's difficult to get it done. I get it. But you need to have an idea. Did you hear me what I just said? An idea, the importance of going back to changing it to pounds and ounces. And understand what a liter is. Understand what a gram is. Because now when you go back into a restaurant or when you go back to school, you'll get a better picture of what you're using the ingredients as. You'll get a better picture of understanding and not getting confused. It's really understandable to look at the overall picture of what we do. Cost conversions. A liter to pint. You need the cost per pint of olive oil. You can cost by per liter or of olive oil. Remember, pints to liters. 0.474. The cost of the liter, remember, was $2.25 per liter. And you multiply it by 0.474 is $1.07. Olive oil costs $1.07 per pint. A little bit more. Might not be the venue you want to go on breaking it down. But a lot of the bottles that we get from Europe and from other countries, will have the pints. Or they will have the metric system on the label. I didn't mean to say the other. To understand what you're buying. Volume versus weight. Volume measurement is accurate for liquids, while weight measurements is accurate for solids. You all know there's two different ways of weighing, liquid versus solids. Everybody got that? Everybody knows that. Please. A lot of, I'm really serious. When we have graduates, some of them don't even know that. God bless us. 6 months in school and not getting it. You have to understand how important liquids versus solids is to make it work. However, it is common to see recipes that do not follow the rules for accurate measurements. That's why something doesn't work out, because you haven't done it properly. When you're using stock, when you're using, sorry, you're using stock or chicken broth, and tells you how much you need to make that soup. You just pour. Spices are often listed in recipes using volume unit of measurement. The quality are usually too small to weigh unless you use a Graham scale. That's when you're using gastronomy. You have to use a Graham scale to measure out some of the stuff that you use. We have regular scales, pounds and ounces. How many of you have a scale? Anybody bought a scale for this on these class? I hope so. You're going to find out how important it is. And then for the minute things that you need a Graham scale. Precise to make it work. I know we're getting a little bit more complicated. Another thing on that list. I get it. But recipe doing is very important. Filling out the recipes to know what you need. But maybe you're not that kind of person. You are a thrower-inner. How many of you are thrower-inner or out of the box? Jonas, I know you are. Are you?
What was the question, Chef? How many of us are what?
Thrower-inners. You know, when you add things and make it work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know. I already feel that about you. Don't laugh. Kind of real, right? Right? To understand. You have a recipe, but you follow your own. Remember, feel, touch, smell, and taste. That's how some chefs do it to make it work. But learning the foundation of what you get to where you want to be is really important. To understand all of it. You can dream and do anything you want, but you've got to know the foundation of where you can go. Because when you get to that place that you can throw stuff in, you know exactly what that item that you're throwing in will do. That true or not? To make it work. So it is common to see recipes that you do not follow the rules of accurate measurement. Exactly what I'm talking about. Spices. Some like it hot, some don't. You might have some recipes in your where you work or your restaurant or your truck. If you don't like spices, you don't need it. How many times would you say that? If you love spices, here it is. of the box. Matthew, if you smile some more, I'll smack you. So remember those. Spices are often listed in recipe using volume unit and measurements. Then listed recipes using volume unit of measurements. The quantity is usually too small to weigh less than a gram scale. Remember the rules when trying to find how many pounds a certain number of ounces is. Take the number of ounces and divide it by 16, which is usually the number of ounces per pound. Hopefully you know that one. How many ounces in a cup, Kimberly?
8.
Thank you. I'm going to be doing that all through for you to understand. I've got pastry students that don't even know that. Sad. We need to stir the pot. We need to get back to the foundation of what we need to know. Also remember this rule, when trying to convert pounds to ounces, multiply the pounds by 16 and you'll get ounces. Everybody knows that one, right? Hopefully. Put your hands up, thumbs up. We're going step by step, guys. I'm sorry. This is understanding the foundation of a restaurant and recipes. Randall, I'm so glad to see you. The kids all better? Important. James, can you go get me a cup, please?
There's never enough.
Well, your wife didn't help you today. Where did she go? She needs to be around you. Remember, you got the assistant taking care of it.
She's still snoozing.
You're a good husband then.
I'm the lucky one.
Oh, you men need to think more like that, guys. After 50 years, I'm the blessed one too.
She treats me well.
I get it. I understand. But understanding. So we're going from pounds to how many ounces, right? Finally, remember this, if you have a weight that is 2 pounds, 8 ounces, and you need to convert it to ounces, you're going to take 2 pounds multiplied by 16 equals 32 ounces. And the remaining 8 ounces from the 2 pounds to the 32 ounces. 40 ounces total. How many, can anybody tell me the answer to this one before I go to the next one? Next one, chef, please. Yeah, somebody back up. There. How many pounds is 67 ounces? Anybody know?
It said something like 4.1 on the next slide.
Yeah, 4.187.
Yep. Yep. That's all I'm saying. You know a lot of this, we're just reenacting and going back to understand. So you have 1 pound, which is 16 ounces. You've got the 6 that comes to 22 ounces. 16 ounces a pound, and 16 and 6 gets to 22. Remember what we talked about, AP versus EP. A little bit, just touching base. I just need you to touch base to understand the process of really accounting of what you have and what things cost. And to have on hand to you can, what they call it, come over to understand the whole recipe. of making it work. AP versus EP. The food system, it has its own unique terminology, professional using it daily. Food products are unique. One of the most unique features of the product is purchased in a form that is very different than the way usually served to the guest. The uniqueness gives a food service product to purchase a form a very different way it eventually serves its guests. The uniqueness gives the food service industry its own terminology to describe the different state of the food product from purchasing to service. A basic understanding of terms as purchased, edible portion, will impact your success with the food service mathematics more than any other factor that comes to mind. The amount of food service operation profitability hinges on your understanding of the two terms. These terms will be explained using a case of apples. The case is purchased, prepped for dessert. Really important, guys, to understand AP versus EP. We talked about a little bit about it last week. As purchased to edible portion. As purchased. This is a product as it is purchased. The item is as purchased AP unit measurement. The term is as purchased AP price per unit measurement. For example, if you purchase a case of Granny Smith apples, weighs 20 pounds, the cost is $60. The cost per pound is $3. The AP price is $60. And the AP price per pound is $3, sorry, 30. God bless us. Edible portion. When the edible portion of the EP is the amount of the product available to serve the guest after cleaning, trimming, cooking the product. EP unit of measurement. The item will have an edible portion or EP price per unit again. Remember what I said last week too. When you are cooking down the apples and you've peeled it, cored it, you're taking away some of the items from the AP as purchased. So if a recipe says you're going to make 10 pies and you're going to need say 5 pounds of apples. Does that mean as purchased or does that mean EP, edible portion? Edible portion, right? So what does that mean? Instead of buying 5 pounds of apple, what are you going to have to buy? A little bit more to after you've peeled it and stuff to make it work. The case of the apple will have an EP weight less than AP weight. The apples will be EP price per pound that is greater than the AP price per pound due to the trimming and shrinking during cooking. Listen, guys, we're adults, we understand. So make sure we just kind of pay attention. So everything that a recipe will say to buy 5 pounds of apples or things that shrink when they're cooked or peeled when they're cooked. What is another good example? Anybody know? What would you say is another good item? Say in, how about eggplant? Would you say eggplant would be the same? Do you cook it with the skin on or with the skin off? Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to take that all into consideration of what you want to do. How about poblano peppers? Do we use all of it? How about bell peppers? Do we use all of it? How about jalapeno peppers? by weight. If you eat the seeds of some of those peppers, guys, you ain't coming to school for a week. Hot, right? Out of this world. But maybe you like hot. Maybe your body's accustomed to that hot spice. Example, the most apple cost is $2.50 a pound and weighs 9.5 ounces. After trimming, it only is 9 ounces of apples left. The weight down, making the price per pound go up. Now for $2.50, I have 9 ounces of apples. Again, do you think that that changes the price of an apple pie? Did you think about that? Does it change the price of what your recipe says, the amount that you have to buy to change the unit price of the item that you're cooking? Wow. Didn't think that AP versus EP would make that much of a difference, did you? But it does. You know, in a way, in the long run, you could take a steak. How much fat are you taking it off? To make sure that you get your 8 ounces. Fillets. How many, everybody thought about that? Buying it from a vendor and then cleaning it up to serve. Somebody's got to get the money. Somebody's got to get the price for it to come up, right? I mean, that's what you're in business for, to make a living.
Matthew, explain your question again. How you put it on the
Let's
chat?
ask, would rice be a little different because it expands when you cook it, or is that different by like volume? Because the weight, if you weigh it out, it would be the same.
Correct.
It just
Rice is
that
not
it
in there.
grows.
No, there's no waste in rice. The only thing that's weight, remember, you've got to soak your rice and you got to wash it, remember? And then it pops up, correct? Am I right, Chef Cliff?
Yeah, there is no waste in rice.
No. All right, a little bit of what we were talking about, a little different, kind of overpowering, a little bit overwhelming sometimes. There's some of us that talk a lot, but need to understand the importance of AP versus EP a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break, guys. Thank you.
Chef, I wasn't talking about the waste in rice. I know there's not waste in rice. I was talking more like I've sent him that message a few slides back when you were talking about apples. You have to account for more because they shrink down. But
Right.
if you measure 1 cup of raw rice and then you boil it or steam it or whatever, it expands obviously to more than 1 cup.
Volume. You're talking about volume, correct?
Right. That's why I was asking him if it would be
Yeah.
volume over.
You know, Matthew, you're making me think. Did you hear me?
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, I guess the recipe would specify cooked versus uncooked in that scenario. I'm not sure.
I've never thought about that, but I'll find out for you. No, really, you know, because I want to learn. You know that already.
Right.
That's a good point. That's really a good point. I never thought of rice that way.
I'm sure there's other things, but it just.
I love your froggy.
You said it like 3 times. I was like, I'm gonna send her something. That was funny.
But sometimes, you know, I mean, people really need to understand the importance of AP versus EP. And I don't think half of you ever heard that before, did you? I know you did.
Well, I talked to Chef Miguel about it. Like you were saying, a lot of people graduate and they don't know like the difference in the measurements. But I think a lot of it's pushed back on Escoffier because you can miss so many days of school, but yet they don't, the way they scale the grading scale and attendance, it doesn't matter, you know?
You pass. I get it. You don't think why do you think that I want the foundation? Even if you don't lick it, you got to know it. That this is an opportunity, the thing that you have to touch base with. You know? And that's the way I feel when I teach. You better frickin' know it when you leave my class, because you ain't leaving until you know it. It's the reality of life. This is a business. It's not an easy business. It's a very difficult business. People will chew you and spit you out. And you think I'm kidding? I'm not. People are mean and cruel. And they like to be bosses, all of them. You know? So yeah, Chef Miguel and I worked for a long time together. We're from the same tree. I get him.
Guess that apple didn't fall far, did it?
Nope. But you know what? We were a great, great team. You know, because we're both paying attention to detail, and we're both responsible. I don't mean to be tacky, but we're both responsible to deliver. And if he's in the weeds, I'm there. And if I'm in the weeds, he's there. Do you get what I'm saying? And doesn't mean that he's in the weeds every day. It doesn't mean I'm in the weeds every day. But there are possibilities that anything could happen, because things happen all the time. Well, I do love your grandma's curtains. Only kidding. But did you have a good weekend?
Oh yeah.
I worked my butt off this weekend, but it's a good thing. It got a lot done. A lot done. But my shift next time is going to be different. So I'm going to be teaching from 5 p.m. to 10 o'clock.
Oh, you can have that.
And live in my kitchen. You got it? But I'm
Better
getting a
you
new
than me.
puppy. I'm getting another puppy.
What kind?
Of course, Pomeranian. You know I have Pomeranians. She's 5 months old. She's coming from a rescue. And I get her on Saturday, but I got to drive to College Station to go get her. So I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
I don't know how I'm going to keep them quiet between 5 and 10 at night. It's a worry, you know?
You know the bad part about doing it live in your kitchen? You don't have a dish pit for students to wash your dish.
You know, my husband said the same thing.
Well, that's what he's for.
Yeah. Remember, he's my assistant. He helps me a lot when I cater an awful lot on weekends. And usually 200, 300, 400. So he's my backbone of my truck driver that drives the truck, because I usually rent a truck. And he's the unloader, helps me unload. And I have to take into consideration, he's really the best thing that ever happened to me. And so we're partners, do you know what I mean? We both work together and keep the money together. And enjoy our life together.
Got to be on the same team.
You gotta be, to make anything work. You know, you gotta be friends first. Remember that before you do anything else, be friends first. Because that's what 50 years does. I can't believe we're together 50 years, married 50 years. I am having a party, so it'll be good. So, but us Czechs know how to celebrate.
Booze.
I know this is yield versus, but some of these young students need to know that a little bit. The importance. I'm going to finish grading everything. I thought I would have time yesterday, but boy. They're going to be picking up the ingredients every day, every week at the school, the students. And we had to calculate or itemize each week of recipes for them to pick up, for the school to make. So that was like a living experience.
And then somebody's got to be there to hand it all out and account for it.
Not me. It's going to be a chore only from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock as it is.
Trent, didn't he work at the school you said?
Yeah. You know what? Trent is really, I promise you, he's a very nice young man. He's a hard worker. He just doesn't have the book end of it. Do you get what I'm saying? But you put him on a line and he'll blow you away.
I don't think I've ever met him, but he seems really nice. Just in
No,
class.
really, a very nice. And Robert, my gosh, he blew me away with some of the stuff that he was sending me. Really. I mean, I thought that he was a little bit not so together. He's got his shit together. Well, I'm really proud of him. You know, I just love meeting new people in my life. And I just love just meeting them. And I can tell you, I haven't met any of you, but I can go down the line and tell you each thing about somebody. I've already observed it. You know, I got it. You know, what are you laughing at? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't want to hear what you got to say about me.
You're a little bit smarter for your age than you are, which I like. Do you know what I mean?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, you said you were in your father's business and you didn't want to do it anymore. Right?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing, isn't it? Sometimes their dreams are not yours.
It's definitely hard.
Really hard, very hard. What do you want to do after this?
I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see what happens with the way the world changes, but
Oh my God, isn't it going to change? It's going to change a lot.
I want to try to do my externship at Disney because I feel like there's so much diversity you can learn at one place. And
Just one thing I'm going to tell you about Disney. Don't let him walk over you, Matthew.
no,
Really?
I just feel like if you go to one like a certain restaurant and you learn from a certain cook, that's great. But I feel like at Disney, there's so many different styles and so many different chefs and so many different types
Yeah,
of
but
restaurants.
you know, with internship, they sometimes put you on the, what they call that road, what they call that, the way, and you're selling popsicles, or you're not utilizing them, what you want to be there for to learn. Do you get what I'm saying? So you make sure you tell the chef, you know what, I'm not here to do this, I'm here to learn.
Right.
I've heard
I
a
didn't
lot
know
of
that.
people that have been to Disney and they wouldn't recommend it.
Not all it's
They
cracked
wouldn't
up to
have?
be.
I've had
Yeah.
a lot of people tell me personally that it's not worth it.
Really? I'm surprised.
The cost of living is higher because of the fact that you're gonna have to move there.
Well, I'm gonna have to move anywhere because I'm not staying in Austin. It's not happening.
We're not saying that because Austin's expensive too, but Florida's more.
Well, he might go to California,
That ain't happening.
okay? But you know, I like Disney World better than I like, no. What is California? Disney World, isn't it?
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Disneyland. I like that better because I can go through it in one day. Think, you know, it's smaller. But anyway,
It's only 7:30.
That's interesting to hear Kimberly say that though, because I've heard their like interview for it is like one of the toughest you'll ever go through to end up selling popsicles. That's kind of
that's the only thing I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying to tell you not to do it. But when you get there, you make sure you let them know that you're there to learn and to make it happen. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm sure that they get short somewhere and they put somebody in there because you're an intern and it's not somebody there that's been working there for years. Do you get what I'm saying? And
right.
you're there
Yeah,
on a short term.
so set your expectations, huh?
Set your expectations high and you let them know that you're there for being high expectations, not as a person that can be pushed over. Because some of the students that we have don't open their mouth. And that's an issue because I want to make sure they are like me to let them know who's boss or in their personal life. Do you get what I'm saying? To make sure that they understand that you want to do something with your life. You're not there to accommodate them for 3 months. And that's all. And that's what I want you to feel about your life, guys, when you go anywhere to learn. You go learn because you care about yourself to learn. You get what I'm saying? You need to voice your opinion. The boss might say to you, well, wait a minute, you know? But you say, listen, I'm here to deliver and I'm here to learn to make you better and make me better. Now, if you go in there and you don't care, I can't help you. But the only way you're going to get ahead in life is to make sure you voice your opinion of what you want in your life and make it work. I'm sorry, I keep rattling on.
And Matthew, if you really want to be able to like solidify a job over there that isn't just selling popsicles on their like streets, then I also recommend just getting other jobs beforehand and building a sort of resume as per that, because that also just helps a lot. It also helps you build connections, because who you know definitely matters at that tier. Because my dad is always talking about how he could just keep getting me a job at Blue Dolphin, which is one of their hotels over there. And it really does make a difference who you know and how much experience you have. I mean, obviously one is better than the other, but it doesn't hurt to help both.
Right.
Remember one thing also, wherever you work, and I said this to you before in the lectures before, never quit or walk out. Never. If you don't like it, give them a notice and leave. Because that will follow you and you never know if you ever need that job again, ever.
Okay, Chef, I have a question on that one.
Sure.
So at my last job, whenever I knew I was gonna move, I let them know, I let them know 2 months in advance, 1 month in advance, and 2 weeks in advance. And they still put me on the schedule for the week that I was not supposed to work.
Did you go to them and tell them that?
Mm-hmm.
What'd they say?
They were like, oh, we didn't know. And I was like, really? Because here's all my
So
documents.
first of all, did you give them a piece of paper?
Yes.
Did you take a picture of that paper?
Yes. And I had my own copy of it.
Well, you've got it.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, we didn't know. And I was like, really? Because here's all 3 papers with the date in the corner.
Yep.
A
You
picture-
always back yourself up, guys, to make sure you cover yourself. Not to say that they don't, because they've got so much stuff going on that they don't even understand it.
I mean, yeah, in their defense, they had like all of the seniors quitting, but at least I waited until like a month before I had to leave to.
Right. Well, we're back. To understand. Appreciate it. Nigel, Ivan, Victoria, Mia, Anthony, back on. Please. I appreciate it, Anthony. I appreciate it, really. Where's your white shirt?
I don't have one. But I'm gonna go look for one. Hold on.
You better.
Need a white shirt.
Mia, Ivan, Anthony, Roro, Nigel, Andre.
I'm here, Chef.
Okay. I want to see you. Not your finger, your thumbs up. I want to see you.
Chef, give me 1 second. I'm get my kids dressed real quick. I'm gonna let you see me today, Chef. Today is the day you see me today. All
That's what I say.
right. Chef, I hope you had a very awesome weekend.
Oh,
know you
I
said you
sure
about to get a
did.
puppy soon.
Yeah,
Puppies are
I'm
really
getting a
cool.
puppy. Okay.
Awesome. What type of dog? You getting pit bull?
Oh, yeah, sure. Do I look like a pit bull kind of woman?
Hey,
Chef is
I
gonna get
think
like a
he'll be scared of you.
Chihuahua or a wiener dog.
Huh?
I feel like you're gonna get like a wiener dog,
Nope.
Chihuahua.
Nope.
Pomeranian.
No kidding. Yes. 5 months old.
See, Chef, I'll be listening to you, Chef.
Oh, I know you were. Thank
Hey,
you.
I was out of the room, so.
Okay, that's all right. I get her next Saturday. All right. Yield percentage.
I found one.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. The majority of food purchased is trimmed and cooked. The process causes EP weight to vary from AP weight, a food that will shrink, resulting in AP weight, and the item can expand, resulting in gain of AP weight. The difference between AP weight and EP weight is called yield percent. Of what we're going to do. We're going to go really fast through it, guys. And I really, truly mean it, but it is really important for you to get it, to understand purchase, as purchase, remember. So what we're going to, and EP. To determine the product yield percentage, EP divided by AP multiplied by 100. Yield percent equals weight divided by AP. Multiply it by 100 to get the yield. Determine the correct number of product ordered. And AP, quality, quantity, EP weight divided by yield percent. So, example. The case of Granny Smith apples weighs 20 pounds, is peeled and trimmed and cored. Peeling and trimming is a loss of AP. The case of apple weighs after peeling and coring now weighs 10 pounds. Quite a bit. This is edible portions, which is EP. What is your yield percent? So yield, EP weight and AP weight multiplied by 100. Your EP weight is, after cleaning it, is 10 pounds divided by the as purchase weight, which is 20, equals to 0.5. 0.5 multiplied by 100 equals 50%. Kind of understandable to understand, kind of brought it down. The most accurate yield percentage are the ones you do yourself, weighing the item before trimming and getting the edible portion. Weigh the trimmed item, the EP weight divided by EP is AP. So we're going to understand. On the following side, you will use a formula to plug in the numbers and fill the percentage weight. Exercises by 100 AP with 37 EP. AP versus EP. Divide 37 divided by 100 equals 0.37, multiplied by 100 is 37%. EP weight divided by AP weight equals 100%. AP, 39 pounds. AP versus 14 pounds edible. 14 divided by 39, because it's EP divided by AP, equals 36.100 is 36%. EP divided by AP weight multiplied by 100 to yield percent. So review problems and yield percent worksheets. Calculating the yield or finding the EP weight. Once you have a yield percent, save the number of future references. You can also use the following formula to determine how much product you are going to get, or sometimes like a case of apples, by using the yield percent that you have developed. A lot of different things. Matthew brought up a really good point about rice, and I'm going to find out about it. Maybe Chef Cliff, you can look at it, because when the rice is cooked, it has more of a yield. But maybe the weight would be the same, Matthew. I just thought about that.
Give me one
Totally
second. I'll
different.
look. I got a yield book. Give me 1 second.
To make sure, to understand what it is. But that's a really good point, because the rice does volumize, but I think when it volumizes, it has the weight, same amount of weight. Anybody have anything to say about that? Anybody thought about that? Jonas?
I don't think it would have less weight because it absorbs the water, so it would inherently have more weight.
Jonas, have you ever thought about that?
That's what I was talking about. I think they misunderstood my question when they were talking about the waste of rice. I know there's not waste in rice. It was when she was talking about you cut down apples and you have waste, so you have to add more apples if you want 5 pounds because they're going to cook down. I said, well, what about like something like rice? When you cook it, it expands. Because obviously a half a cup of rice, you might not be able to eat a whole half a cup of rice per portion because it expands.
Oh, yeah, well, in that instance, you would probably be directly saving. I mean, you're using less than what you have, so that's directly an increase.
Yeah, but that half a cup of rice raw, and then when you take it after it's cooked, there's that 1 cup of rice is going to cook to, I would say, about 3 cups of rice. Wouldn't you say that? Would you say that? Anybody?
Give or take.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a little bit of culinary, but I don't know that
And
much.
I'm no rice expert either. I mean, if you make a half a cup of rice, you're probably going to get about a cup and a half back.
I would say that. Anybody experience rice? Cooking rice? Volume?
I can't.
I'm looking right now. Give me 1 second.
Well, yeah, when you cook like anything like that, like rice, pasta, or like dried beans or whatever, like it's absorbing that liquid, so it's adding volume. It is getting heavier.
Good question, though. Boy, it's gonna aggravate the crap out of me till I figure it out. Okay, calculating yield or finding EP weights. Once you have a yield percentage, you can save the number of future references. You can also use a formula to determine how much product to get from something like a case of apples by using the yield percentage to have developed. So you have 10 pounds of apples and you're trimming 75%. What is your EP? So at 75% is 0.75, 7.5. 10 pounds by 7.5 equals 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Or 7.5 pounds equals to 7 pounds, 8 ounces when you're buying. So we know that. So we can pass all of this down, calculate the following. Oranges, 15 pounds of orange, your yield is 68%. Why? Because of the skin of the orange. You're only going to get the pulp that's inside or the...
Chef, where are you? What?
Okay.
Slide 103-ish.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm about to post your question. I've got a photo, or I've got the yields on rice. I'm gonna post it in the chat in just a second.
Okay. Does it look interesting?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
I'm not pushing, honey. I'm just.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm emailing it to myself so I can post it. Y'all can go ahead, Chef. I'm working on this. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right slide. And
No, that's all right. We're waiting for you too. So when we're talking about oranges, yield at 68%. 15 pounds of oranges, AP versus yield is 68%. You take 15 pounds multiplied by 0.68 equals 10 pounds, 2 ounces. Now, to convert it into pounds and ounces, anything is right by a decimal. Is a percentage, not a whole. 16 ounces in a pound equals multiplied by 0.2, 3.2 ounces. Answer 10 pounds and 33.2 ounces to understand. Calculate the use of the above formula. 73 pounds of carrots, AP, yield is 86%. So what are we going to do? 73 AP, yield 86, multiply it by 0.86 equals 6278 pounds. Convert the pounds to ounces, you multiply 16 by 78. Equals 12.48 ounces. 62 pounds equals 12.48 ounces, or 12.5 ounces rounded off. Always. Anything that's above a 5, you turn over to a higher number at the ending. AP versus yield equal EP. Kind of complicated, guys. 6.4 bananas, pounds of bananas is AP, yield is 86% because of the skin of the banana. Calculating converting percentage to decimals by moving the decimal 2 places to the left, always. So 6.4 pounds equals 0.86. Because the yield is 86%, you move it over 2 decimals to equal 5.5 pounds. 16 multiplied by 4.4 equals 6 ounces, rounding it. 6 pounds equals 96 ounces, kind of really talking about it. 96 plus 6 equals 102 ounces. Review. Problems, work the problems on the calculating yield or input portions of a product worksheet. You may leave your answers in pounds or decimal. No need to convert the pounds and ounces. Converting the amount needed. Does the yield percent impact food purchasing? I would think so. The yield percent of food product has a direct impact of quality of product purchased. The amount of product purchased is not equal to the amount of product available to serve the guest. Remember what I said, if you're going to make apple pie and it requires that many apples, you better be buying some more apples if you're going to make that many pies that you need to make. It's anything that you buy. Make sure your onions, remember, you got to peel your onions with the skin outside. Does it make a difference on the yield? Sure does. So instead of using 5 pounds of apples, you might need 7 pounds of apples. Do you all get what I'm saying? Depending on, not apples, onions, sorry. Same thing with eggplant. What is your yield? How much does it weigh? Realistic numbers to make it work. Baked apples for purchasing.
There is the yield percent for.
So break it down for us, Chef.
Okay, you got, let's see, the raw, like, let's say instant rice, raw 2.9. So let's see, I haven't figured, so this is going to be a higher yield because yes, it does swell, right? So it's raw to cooked weight increase. So the increase is 420%, right? From the raw to the cooked.
So the cost factor, or you're really giving it away, correct?
Yes, yeah, pretty much. You're pretty much giving it away.
So really rice is cheaper than potatoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So remember, look at what we're looking at. What do we want and where we are to understand? To make sure that the menu that you're using, are you going to use, if you're in a Spanish restaurant, I mean, just think about, the rice is cheap, beans are cheap. The only thing, if you're going to be making tacos, is what kind of tacos are you going to be making? Chicken, beef. I love duck tacos. Anybody had them? Really good. Yeah. Off the wall, aren't they? Telling me to come back and buy more. I like anything duck though, you know? Anything with a quack quack in there is fine with me. So those are the things that we lean. Pork, another one. Remember, cleaning it up, buying it. Remember, buying your food pre-cut sometimes is the way to go. Sometimes you need to butcher it yourself. Which direction do you want to go? Remember, nobody pays for your labor in majority of the times when you're working. Your labor is free if it's your own place. So if you're going to butcher it yourself, you'll get it a lot cheaper. But you do need to step up to the plate. Same thing, a lot of like, look at Cheesecake Factory. You think that they bake in the back? Heck no, it's all brought in, frozen. Macaroni Grill, do you think they have a baked person in the back? Nope, brought in. Any of the big places, some of the hotels, guys, this is a reality check. Some of them don't, they bring them all frozen and dress it up themselves with garnishes. What are the main meals of a restaurant or when you're doing a menu? Remember the main item? For us, desserts is the main items, the crunch factor, the garnish, The sauce? What is your staple? By a starch, a vegetable, the main item, and a garnish. What is appealing to your plate? What is I want that when you're in a restaurant? That is a key word. I want that. Because that top garnish is off the top. Making your eyes want it. Your eyes do all the work to make sure. So very important. Remember, so when we get to 40 guests are invited for dinner, 4 portion sizes of baked apple for dessert. How many pounds of apple are we going to be purchased? 40 guests times 4 ounces is 160 ounces. Do you all get what I'm saying? Remember, the yield, really important in all recipes. I don't care if it's savory or dessert, it doesn't matter. You need 10 pounds of apples to serve 40 guests. Is it 10 pounds AP or EP? Remember going through EP divided by yield percent. So AP quantity, 20 pounds of apples should be purchased to serve 40 guests at 4-ounce portions. Review, review problems. Finding the worksheet. If you all really want to really conquer it, Chef Cliff has put them on the portal for you to look at them.
All right, so I'm sharing my portal right now. So you're gonna go down to today, that's day 21. Click on that. And we'll see the worksheet right here. It says day 13, calculating yield in EP. You're going to click on that. It downloads. I'll show you what it looks like. And here it is. So if you could fill this out and we'll go over it, or you can send it to me, and we're going to go over tomorrow. Let's see, hold on a second. And then I also added that little image with the rice. So you can kind of look at that as well. It's sitting on the portal. Questions? Just do that handout, and you can send it in to me. I'm gonna put that down as a quiz grade. You can send this directly to me, and I'll grade it. I'll put it in as a quiz grade. Okay. Everybody there?
And we'll go over the answers tomorrow.
Yes. And then, and I've got all the rest of the PowerPoints put up as well. I'm working on, I'm hoping that we're going to get the, what do you call those knowledge checks. Has anybody tried to go into it?
They're all open, Chef.
Someone was saying it wasn't. Was that Gary?
We had them open last week. I got them open.
Okay.
They're all open.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, go ahead then, Chef. It's all you.
Okay. So recipe yield conversion. Recipe yield refers to the total weight and volume, count number of portions properly prepared. For example, the recipe for soup for 2 gallons, the yield is illustrative purpose only. We're going to go through this pretty fast. The professional kitchen or recipe for soup or the yield of 2 gallons should be actual 95% or 1.9 gallons of soup. Total amount of soup that could be served as a guest because some of the soups can stick to the side of the stock. The concept called edible portion, meaning as served, as we covered yesterday. The recipe yield example, the recipe of the soup is 2 gallons. The portion size is 8 fluid ounces. Do you see something that needs to be done first? So the yield example, the recipe for the soup is 2 gallons. The portion size is 8 ounces. We must be in 1 unit. It is best to go to the smallest unit of fluid ounces. So 2 gallons equals 128 fluid ounces per gallon. Did you all know that? How many knew that? 128 fluid ounces per gallon. Really important. So it equals out to 256 fluid ounces per soup. The yield of the whole 2 gallons is 256 fluid ounces. 256 fluid ounces of soup divided by 8 equals 32 portions of soup. That means that 2 gallons serve 32 people per, not 32 people, per 32 servings. The recipe for conversion, the recipe yield must be used to increase and decrease depending on the number of portions required by the service. Adjusting a recipe yield impacts the quality of all the recipes included. Extra caution should be exercised when adjusting the qualities of herbs and spices and seasoning. So, basic recipe for a recipe conversion. New yield, old yield. Little bit more to get into. New yield divided by old yield equals a conversion factor. Multiply each ingredient with a conversion factor. So basic formula, recipe conversion to understand. An example, you might have a formula that makes 20 pounds of dough, but you only need 8. This is really an important factor to understand a little bit, guys. Knowing that you have to convert a formula as a recipe as an important skill that you always use. I promise you, this is one of the things that you will use in your restaurant for food or baking to make. We're always having to reduce and increase formulas in our program. So if you're going to use the skill throughout the rest of your career, kind of important factor. Conversion calculations using a conversion factor. It is not difficult to divide a recipe into half or double a recipe. However, in the professional kitchen, we not always double or half a recipe. We need to understand how to convert a recipe, for example, 20 quarts to 12 quarts or 15 pounds to 19 pounds. How do we understand and how do we grow and subtract from a recipe? The yield, kind of important. Remember this, using a conversion factor, you multiply always, forever and ever. Multiply each ingredient to the increased yield, or decreasing a yield using a conversion factor number. So the formula for the recipe conversion is new yield divided by old yield equals conversion factor. This reads new yield divided by old yield. The conversion factor is used to multiply the quantity of all recipe ingredients. So here is a little bit of an example. If anything that you learn from AP and EP And this will make your life, it's a little bit sometimes tricky to understand, but it'll make your life so much easier in wherever you're going to understand what you need to do. Not make double the product, and what do you do with the other product? Put it in a freezer, taking up space. So you're making items that you're going to use that day. Do you all understand what I'm saying? So you convert it to the point that it's easy for you. Anthony, get on. Gary, get on. Ivan, get on, please. Nigel, I need to see you. Roro, I'm in it. So this are the things that you need to understand. AP versus EP to get it. And then finding out the conversion part for new yield to old yield. You need to get it, guys. It's really important. So recipe, a yield, 25 portions. A banquet chef is handling 100 portions of recipe A on Saturday. The new yield is 100. The old yield is 25. So he's got to grow from 25 to 100. So the new yield is 100. You divide it by the old yield, 25. The conversion factor is what? 4. After you divide it, you all get what I'm saying? Do you get this so far? I know some of you do. Victoria, get on, please. Ivan, get on. We need you. The number 4, the conversion factor, 4 is multiplied by the quantity listed for each ingredient. So you find the common conversion factor. Do you get what I'm saying? Robert, do you get it? The quantity listed for each of the ingredients in the recipe to increase the yield, or the number of portions produced from recipe A. So items. Yield is 25. Potatoes is quantity is 5 pounds. Recipe A, the yield, the new yield is 100. So you take 5 pounds, multiply it by the 4, that's the common, the conversion factor, equals 20 pounds. The quantity of potatoes to serve 100 people will be 20 pounds. You all get it? So you gotta get the conversion factor in order to make sure your yield is correct of what you gotta buy. Here's another. New yield. Old yield equals conversion factor. Your recipe has a yield for 8 portions, old yield, and wants to make 18 portions out of it, which is a new yield. $18 divided by 8 is equal to 2.25. Your conversion factor is 2.25. Multiply this number by the weight of each ingredient in your recipe. And you get the new yield for the portion instead of 8 portions. Do you all get it? Robert, Randall, are you okay? You got it? Really important. Did you go over this in foundation the first week? Kind of get over it? Understanding? Thank you, Jonas.
Need this.
To understand it. It's really important for you to get it. How many of you didn't know this? Anybody? All of you knew it. Oh my gosh, I'm proud of you. Stick with it. A good resource, refreshing. New yield, old yield, conversion factor. Your recipe makes 4 liters, which is old yield, but you're only needing 1 yield, which is a new yield of sauce. Take 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. Each ingredient weight by this conversion factor, and your yield will go from 4 liters to 1 liter. Basic formula, old yield, new yield over old yield in the conversion factor. Multiply each ingredient by the conversion factor. Work the finding conversion factor worksheet, do the convert to yield worksheet, crepes, finding a new weight on the crepe recipe. Preparation for tomorrow, build a Cobb salad today and cost it out. I'm telling you, all I want you to do, guys, is go ahead and you sent me the one that you did for your homework, the menu pricing, contribution margin, food cost. You don't have to just send, make sure you send, do the worksheets that we have on the side for you to do, and that's your homework for you. What are we taking away from all of this today, guys? Understanding the importance of a recipe, what yield it is, what do we use, AP versus EP, really important. The amount of items that you have to buy to make what you're doing. You know exactly where you stand every day. Exactly to understand what you got to buy and what you produce to sell every day. You know where your money is every day. You know what the stock room every day for the week. If you don't take care of that every day, you will have a problem of making a profit. Ever thought of making stock with the peeled apples? Different things. Recycling everything that you use in your kitchen. What else do you have around you that can make or be profitable for you with the waste that you have? You might have chickens in your backyard.
Squirrel.
Free food. You don't even have to go buy them food. I know, if you want to take care of chickens, they're messy, but you can cage them up.
Squirrels.
I'll pass. So do you understand? Recycling what is in your kitchen, making it work. To understand. Really the importance of understanding what you've got to make, how to break it down. AP versus EP. I hope it was a refreshing course for you today. Kind of goes back and forth. You know, restaurant ops is such a big criteria. Remember what I said in the first week that we came back to class on restaurant ops. Doesn't have to be a cook behind the line. You have 15 other things that you can do with this degree. That's what Escoffier offers you. Not in the back of the house. So many different things that you can express yourself, food photography, all the different things that you can do. Recipe inventing for people. Getting this degree. Not only being a chef on the front line. Yeah, you could be executive chef and go up the ladder and go in a hotel business with assistant general manager. Is that the way you want to go, or do you want to explicit what you feel? What do you want to cook? Do you want to be your own boss? A lot of people don't tell me anything. I know, I got it. Or you're like Robert, that follows really well and wants his dream to be that way. There's nothing wrong with that. Remember, each one of us have different levels of success. And how we come across. What is our personalities? What is what we want to do? And the word is happy. Don't do it for the sake of doing it. Be happy doing it. That's what the whole world is all about. The world is changing, guys. It's not going to be what it was 6-8 weeks ago. It's not. It's going to be totally different. You know what? New adventure, new ways of doing things, learning to make you successful. Really proud of the ones that come up and show up every day. We've got 18 today. I wish we had our numbers up higher, but it's okay. It's a new world, new beginning of different ways of learning. Sometimes one-on-one, being in person, showing is a lot better. For some people, are more comfortable at it. Some people, this is the way to go. They want to distance themselves. That's okay. Nothing wrong in that. That's your preference. Remember, you are the boss. And how you express yourself. And what is the word I use all the time, Matthew?
Squirrel. Think.
Think. The big word, isn't it? But you're not thinking for anybody else, you're thinking for yourself. And that's the key word. Like my son says, Mom, it is what it is. And I'm sure you tell your mom the same thing. But we keep coming back for more. Anybody have anything to say about today? Did you love it? Bringing it back a little bit? Or is it too much? Kimberly?
Like your son says, it is what it is.
I would have thought you'd say that. I would have expected Jonas to say something like that. Right, Jonas? Jonas, sorry. God, help me. God, help me. It's an honest mistake.
It's all right.
You know I try. See, but I would have thought you would have said it is what it is. Is that true?
Yeah. My go-to is it's always something.
There's always something.
It's always
Is that
something.
what it is? How's your plan coming up for your food truck? Not yet?
Not yet, no.
No, okay, that's fine. You'll be ready.
I will.
I know. I have a lot of faith in you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean that. Randall, how you doing? Doing good? Can't hear him. There.
I'm doing good, Chef. These sheets really take my menu. I gotta make some changes. Some stuff is not marketable at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta make some changes. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming along good. Learning a lot.
You know, this change is going to really change the aspect of restaurants, food trucks, and a lot of different things. I think it's going to open up an awful lot for entrepreneurs. Really. Don't you agree with me?
Oh yeah.
I don't think you're going to have an establishment to be successful anymore. You agree with me? Growing. Anthony, how you doing? Your plan's good?
I'm doing good, Chef.
Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
James, you doing good?
Doing good. Yeah, doing good.
Right. When do you close on your house?
We've closed. We'll get the keys on June 1st.
Wow, a month from now?
Yeah. We still are paying rent here until then, so that's why. Yeah.
Okay. But you can slowly go in there and do what you want?
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep.
North or south? North or south?
South. Yeah. Cedar Valley area.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Just before Dripping Springs.
Oh, yeah. That's a big, high growing area.
It is. Yeah. We're excited. Yeah, we're really excited.
Well, I'm glad for you.
Thank you.
Anybody have some other news? Anybody? Kimberly?
Yeah. What? Huh?
News?
No.
Anything new?
My sister turned 16 in 2 weeks.
Well, that's good.
That's about all I got.
Well, at least you're the older sister.
Yeah, that's not the good thing. She scares me. She could literally kill me if she wanted to. So.
Oh, stop it.
Anthony, your face.
Stop it.
No, she's like a little Satan.
Okay. Well, she's not in school now, so
No,
she won't be in school till the fall.
No, they still have school. They're just doing it online like us.
Is it online? Wow. I didn't realize that. Chef Cliff, is your daughter's online? Your
Yes.
daughters, are they online?
Yes, they are. They're both having to do school online.
Wow.
My oldest daughter, that's a senior, she's pretty much done. There's really most of her grades are done, but my freshman in high school daughter, she's still doing work.
Wow.
It's a lot of busy work.
Yeah.
But still, it's for first grades.
Yep. Wow. It is a big transition, isn't it? To adjust
Totally.
to all different things. Mia, you doing okay?
Yes, Chef, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. Andrew, doing good? All right. You know, you've got, Chef Cliff has put those worksheets out. If you get that done, that would be great. You will hear from me today and make sure that we get that done. And I appreciate you, Rena. Thank you. On different items. Ivan, are you there?
Yeah, I talked to him. He's there. He just can't turn on his on the camera right now. And but yes,
Okay.
I'm texting him.
right.
I've been communication.
All right. I just want to make sure that we all understand. So we stand at 18. Kendricks. How's your puppy? Okay.
I'm sorry. It wasn't Ivan. It was Nigel. My apologies. I haven't.
Okay, not a problem. Gary, you doing okay? Grandma
Yeah, I'm
good?
good. I'm good,
Grandma
Chef.
good? I'm
Yeah,
glad you got to go.
yeah.
All right. Well, Chef Cliff, have you anything else to say?
No, ma'am. I think we did a great job. It was a lot to absorb. Math in the morning is very hard. I understand, but y'all did great.
Yeah, just understanding EP versus AP, please, guys, and understanding yield. Stocking up the amount that you have to make is really important instead of making a recipe and then throwing half of it out. Remember, the factor is the cha-ching factor, really understanding what you got to do. Anybody needs to talk or say anything? We're right here. Chef Cliff and I are right here. If you need anything.
Is it okay if I share my costing sheets with both you chefs right now, just so y'all can just see where I'm working at right now? I'm having a little bit of issues. I created some extra sales on the side to add in extra information, but if y'all can just look it over for a second and let me know what I need to fix.
Sure will.
Thank you.
Not a problem, Randall. Anybody else? Nobody else saying a word? Everybody happy? Okay, except for Randall, then you can then have a great day. Enjoy, and we'll see you tomorrow. And Randall, you can stay on.
And
Thank you.
Chef Cliff, you should see I sent you the my worksheet.
I already got it, and I'm just looking at it right now.
Awesome.
So I was going to reply to it.
Awesome. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Hey, you too, man.
Thank you. Okay.
Chef,
Yeah.
I don't know if Chef Cliff noticed, but last week on Thursday, I wasn't in class, but I still got a grade for that day.
Okay.
Did you?
I'll pay
I'll
attention.
look. I'll look.
Where?
All right.
I'll look in just a second. Thank you.
You know what, Kimberly? Do you see it?
What's that for? For being
Because you're honest.
Taking a free
You're
grade.
honest. Thank you. You know what? I appreciate it. You get it?
Yes. Thank you.
And that's the kind of person you are, and I like it. Got it? Thank you. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chef?
Yeah, now we can hear you. It's okay.
So yeah, I have to go to the costing sheet. I see right here where it says need help remember how to share a document with an instructor. Click here. So I just want to share with you because when it comes down to calculating the if I put in the weight or the count, for example, let me just give you a real good example of one real quick.